Hey Queens, welcome back to my channel. It is Monday, 6:58, and I wanted to just check in with you. I filmed a video on Friday, I believe. Yeah, Friday, about support, right? And I filmed it in both English and Spanish because I have a Spanish channel also under my name, Jessica Burgos. And so that afternoon, I was sweating up a storm, and I kept like dabbing my forehead and the side of my face with like tissue, and next thing I know, I had like pieces of tissue like all over my face. So I was like, I cannot put this video out like that. I look like a fool. So I was able to edit the Spanish video, but not the English one. So I owe you one. And I said, you know what? I still got to get this message out because it is very important. And everything that we achieve in life, we don't do it alone, right? We do it because we surround ourselves around very important people in our lives, like family, friends, colleagues, and even some strangers that come into your life, because God sends them and to show you support. So basically, what I was talking about on Friday was, the importance of having support in your life, when you want to achieve something, or even when you are going through something difficult. And so, in my personal experience, I've had many people show me love and support, even from like my childhood. And I've been very fortunate, and I say it all the time. Growing up, my parents and my brother, extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, they've always shown me a lot of love and support in everything that I've done. And I'll share a couple of things. When I was very young and I would have a bright idea, I would run to my mom or my dad or my brother and, oh, I want to do this. And their first reaction was always, yes, you can do it. Absolutely. You're so smart. You're so talented. Why not? And it was always positive feedback. And even though they didn't say, I support you, the feedback that I would get was enough support for me to feel confident, to feel like I can do it. And I was able to make my endeavor, as small as it was, come to fruition. When I was in my late 20s, I was going through my divorce, and it was a really, really rough time. And so I used to go to work every day. I mean, the show didn't stop, right? Because the bills never stopped. So I had to continue working, as bad as I felt. And I was working for this older woman. Actually, she's the age of my mom's age. And I think I mentioned her in another video, and I owe a lot to her because she was my teacher, professionally speaking, right? She was my mentor, my teacher. I learned so much from her. And being supportive was one of the lessons that I learned from her. To make a long story short, I was going through my emotional pain, from going through a divorce, a separation, and everything. And one day she approached me at work and she's like, Jess, are you okay? And I said, no, I am not okay. I feel sad. I don't know what I'm going to do. And she was like, okay, I understand. It's okay to feel that way. And if there's anything that I can do for you, let me know. The next day, so then that day passed, right? I focused on work, whatever. The next day, she says to me, come into my office. I have something to show you. So I go in her office and she pulls out this calendar, a very thin calendar, right? And she's like, this is a gift to you. I'm going to support you. I'm going to help you get through this because you're not alone. And so I said, okay, what is this? So I opened it up and it's a calendar and it was blank. It was just like empty. It was like brand new, right? Out the box. So she said, open it to this week. So I look for the date. I open it up and I was like, okay. And she said, okay, now this week. Now this just happened to be like on a Tuesday, I think, right? So this week, she tells me, I want you to find someone that you can have coffee with. And I said, okay, like in Brooklyn and Queens and Manhattan. She's like, I don't care. I think that you should find someone here that works with us and just invite them out for coffee or invite them out to lunch. And I said, but I don't know that many people here. She was like, that's the point. So I was like, okay, no problem. So I closed my calendar and she goes, but I want you to do it, Jess, because I promise you that this is going to help you. So I said, okay. I started thinking about it. I walked over to my neighbor, my colleague who worked in another department, but she was like on the other side of the cubicle. So I went over to her. I mean, we had spoken like, hi, bye and stuff, but we never like sat down and spoke about like, oh, yeah, I want to be a friend. So I walked over to her and I said, hi, remember me? I'm like your cubicle neighbor. And I said, my name is Jessica. And she was like, oh, yeah, you're the lady that works with, so-and-so. And I said, yes. So I said, well, I came over because I wanted to ask you if you want to have coffee sometime. And she didn't even flinch. She was like, absolutely. And I looked at her and I was like, for real? She was like, yes, absolutely. You know why? Because I love cafecito. So I started laughing, right? And no lie, that Friday afternoon at 5, we punched out at 5. So at 5 o'clock, we met by the exit and we went to have cafecito. We went to a Dunkin' Donuts. And can I tell you that coffee date, it flourished into a beautiful friendship. Now you're going to ask 2 people. And it should be different. It shouldn't be like a coffee. Like if you want to go out with somebody for coffee, that's great. But I'd like for you to have lunch with someone. Or maybe dinner. I said, okay. So I said, okay, here we go. Well, this person said yes immediately. And I had a great time. So, maybe the next person will say yes. But I was very shy. To make a long story short. So I don't keep rambling. I'm going to tell you that I followed her lead. And I did everything that she said, not because I'm a follower or because she told me what to do. It was because it was the advice, really, right? And the way that she provided the advice, I realized that she was being supportive, and not just like telling me, okay, Jess, we'll do this or try that. It was more like, oh, how did it go? Tell me all about it. I want to hear all about your coffee date. I want to hear all about your lunch date. Oh, what's this person like? And like she didn't even want to be nosy or anything. She generally wanted me to vent and to share my experience as I was going through that pain. Because, when you're going through pain, some people just want it to be over, right? But you actually have to go through the pain to get over the pain. And that's something that I learned through that experience. And I only learned it because of her, because of the support that she gave me at that time. And I tell you, it changed my life, because now when I go through something really difficult, you know what I do? I think about her and her advice and her support. And I'm able to sit myself down and say, okay, what do I need to do for myself right now that's going to get me through this? And so I try to pay it forward, because unfortunately there are a lot of people that don't have that support system, and then they go through more chaos on top of tragedies, on top of like loss and grief, it just accumulates. I try my very best not to tell people what to do or to give the same advice that this person gave to me, although sometimes that works, because you don't want people to feel isolated, right? I think the moral of that experience is that I was already feeling alone because of my separation, and she wanted me to be with people, around people, not for a distraction, but just to help me, deal with the issue. Because as you talk about your experience, it's very healing. The more you talk about it, and this is again what I learned from her, the more you talk about it, the less it hurts. because you're verbalizing all your pain, you're releasing all that energy from within inside you. Believe me, you get through it a lot quicker. And then you also have the other side of the coin when people don't support you. And what do you do when you are seeking that support and you don't have it? So I'll tell you this other thing. When I was going to start this YouTube channel, I was very excited. I said, I want to do this. I'm excited. I want to talk to, as many women as possible. I want to reach as many women as possible because I have a lot to say. And I've always had a lot to say. But more now that I'm getting older and I feel like I'm a little bit more mature. Well, no, not a little bit. I'm definitely more mature mentally, emotionally, and even physically, right? So I want to be able to share my experiences with others because I know that I'm not alone in my journey and in my experiences. And so I approached my friend. He's a male friend that I've known since I was like 15. And I remember telling him, I said, I decided to start a YouTube channel. And he looked at me. He was like, oh, yeah? And I said, yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be about women issues and topics about surrounding women. And he goes, oh, okay. Okay. And I said, yeah, it's going to be about women empowerment. And I'm like all excited. And I'm like, just talking. And he's just sitting there looking at me. And he was like, well, I mean, there are thousands of YouTubers out there, talking about the same thing. Like, what's going to make you different? Like, why would people listen to you? And can I tell you that my mouth dropped? I was like, what? I didn't expect him to be like, yay, But I expected him to say, wow, that's great, Jess. Oh, you're going to do a good job. Because I thought he was, well, he's still my friend, but I thought that I would find that support in my friend. And I was like, well, you know what? My mom told me a long time ago when I want to say maybe in my teens. I remember my mom saying, Jess, not everybody's going to like you. And I was like, what you mean? But it's true. I know that not everybody's going to like me. And it's okay. It's perfectly fine. I don't expect people to oh my God, worship the ground I walk on. But I did feel like, there were certain, people in my life, throughout my life, that weren't the most supportive. And the ones who were the least supportive were the ones that I cared for the most. And I'm not talking about my family, but I'm talking about people outside my family. But you know what? I had to say, it's okay. Not everybody's going to be happy for me. Not everybody's going to be excited for me. Not everybody's going to, be my cheerleader. And it's okay. I'm okay with it. And I just have to learn to move on and not overshare with certain people. If I know that someone is not supportive, they're just not going to get 100% of me. And so, but with that being said, the folks who are supportive to you, cherish them, love them, support them back. Because that's what this world is about. You support me, it should be reciprocal. So you support me, I support you, and that's how it works, right? And even in this YouTube world, right? You have YouTubers that you follow and then they follow you. And it's a great feeling. It's just a wonderful feeling. I wanted to thank you for following my channel and for spending time with me any chance you get. And if you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. And invite your friends to, stop by my channel and just check it out. So as I get ready for Zumba, have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.